Good morning, all. This is Yannis Rekas from flight.com.gr. Today we have a pleasure to have with us Mr. Tom Loske, Manager Marketing and Sales of Eurospike. Thank you very much, Mr. Loske, for being here with us today.
Thank you very much for inviting us. It's a pleasure to be hosted by you, and I hope I can answer some of the questions that that you guys interested in and tackling with.
You see, in Greece we have a very big audience that's always interested in matters of defense. And one of the major points is the anti-tank defense, the defense regarding armored vehicles and in general hard targets. So it is, a very big matter that Europe faces new challenges right now, and one of the means to answer to these challenges is rearming Europe's defense system. Of course, Eurospike has a can play a major role in this new situation. So please tell us some things about the company, the structure of the company, of course, and how is Eurospike involved in all these programs that are going to happen in Europe after the new situation we're facing right now.
Sure, maybe a quick breakdown. So Eurospike was founded in 2004, so over 20 years ago nowadays. We're a joint venture company of three major companies. Rheinmetall obviously is a big name everybody should be familiar with, and another two partners of us are Diehl Defence, also from Germany, close to Nuremberg, and Rafael from Israel. We have actually 4 production lines set up all across Germany, with our mother companies producing different components like the warhead, the optics, and stuff like that, depending on each location specialization, basically. We're currently partnering with, as the name suggests, more than 20 European nations. Mostly, but not all of them NATO members. Switzerland, of course, is something outside the box a little bit. We've delivered tens of thousands of missiles up to now. We've integrated our different missiles for different ranges in more than 40 vehicle platforms already. More and more are coming along the way. As we speak, we've seen Spike not only on testing ranges, but it has been used across the globe, actually, in actual live fire situations successfully. So this is not only a theoretically, but an actual combat-proven product that is quite well liked and well known across many armed forces in Europe and the world. One of the main benefits is the interoperability, or the familiarity within the family. Basically, if you're familiar with, for example, the Spike LR2, then you won't have to learn much more in order to be efficiently operating the Spike ER2 or NLOS or whatever, because they work so well with each other, basically. That maybe as a quick rundown, and yeah.
You see, I find quite fascinating the fact that your product meets the needs of many different countries, and of course many different armies, because every army has its own specific characteristics, and this means that your system is quite adaptable, as I understand that.
That is true. It's quite flexible, depending on the structure of your armed forces, and depending on your tactical and strategic needs. We have the different members of the Spike family that can fit quite different roles. Like if we speak, for example, for the shoulder-launched SR version, with a range of up to 2 kilometers, which still can effectively penetrate even MBTs, very heavily armored tanks, and of course also light vehicles and so on. This is obviously on a company level or even further down, very easy to use and adapt. And then basically as the ranges grow from the LR2, which can be used dismounted by a troop of usually, at least in Germany, that's how we do it, but one commander and one gunner basically. We can effectively engage targets in a 5.5 kilometer range, even on a company level, and then moving up to the ER2 with an effective range of about 10 kilometers when ground launched, or even 16 kilometers if you launch it from maybe like an H145M platform or another rotary platform, for example. So as you can see, we're moving up like to battalion and at some point even division level if we go all the way up to the NLOS maybe, which has effective ranges of about 30 kilometers and even more if launched from a rotary platform again. And so as you can see, these kind of it is a circle that grows, offering a high flexibility on each different level of tactical or strategical need for the armed forces. It's that's why it's, I think, quite well liked within the different nations, because it can fit quite easily in any basically organizational style that may be used. So not necessarily because maybe the person that will eventually give the fire decision within the German army might not necessarily be the same as in the Greek army, but it can still be flexibly handled and integrated into the bureaucracy of all of it. And is obviously also quite adaptable to all types of targets from soft to very hard.
So as you mentioned, according to the specifications of the system, I guess that in the new common European agenda, Eurospike has a role to play. We're expecting news are arising around Europe that a new agenda regarding funds for the defense is going to be discussed. I've seen also from the Financial Times saying that 93 billion euros probably that have been left from the COVID situation are going to be transferred to the defense section. So, of course, as we have realized from the battlefield of Ukraine, the anti-tank defense and in general the armored defense is one of the major key points in the future army, and of course in Europe's army. So, do you believe that Spike has all what it needs to have for Europe to acquire this kind of system?
Definitely, not only from a technical perspective and from a capability perspective. I think that the Spike systems have more than demonstrated their capabilities and their effectiveness in the modern battlefield in 2025 and before, basically, but also from an economical perspective, because we've seen and learned in the past couple of years as a partner of NATO and NSPA specifically, that this is basically an amazing solution for all NATO members, not only in Europe, but the world generally, to procure effectively and at good prices their anti-ATGM ammunition and systems that are needed for the defense of each nation. So basically, if, for example, Greece would like to procure Spike systems, we would always recommend to go through NSPA for a bunch of reasons, actually. You can obviously, of course, still have a direct contract with Eurospike, but that will take quite a bit of bureaucracy. We will set up an individual contract, which includes a whole lot of things in the background, which add up to the cost in the end, making it much more of a hassle and making it more expensive in the end as well. But as procurement through NATO is almost as easy as buying at Amazon or any other online store, as harsh as that sounds, because we have a frame agreement with the NSPA, which tackles all of the important topics like delivery dates, warranties, and such. And with NATO, obviously, both parties have a very dependable partner they're working with, basically. So it's legally secure, it's technically secure, and through the fact that not only Greece, for example, but also Denmark and many other nations in Europe would procure through NSPA, we can bundle all of these orders together, so the quantities that are ordered become much higher. And as with any goods, actually, the higher the quantity, the lower the item price per unit gets. So through ordering through NSPA, you have the chance to always basically get the best and the most attractive pricing for each system. Plus, you have the security that your funds are secured through NATO. You will have a specific delivery timeline, and your service and other warranty needs for the future are all settled before you even sign the contract. So it's easy, it's quick, and it's just an all-round very well-rounded solution for the procurement of defense goods. So we can only recommend doing that. We have had only positive experiences with the team at the NSPA, and our customers who acquire through them are also quite happy with this path of procurement. So plus, actually, maybe to round this off, NSPA is actually also organizing a so-called Spike Users Club, which is a yearly event happening now for over 20 years, which is very, very interesting. Every year, basically, a Spike user nation will host a get-together of all the other countries that employ the Spike ATGM family systems, and everybody will get together and share their experiences in the field while training with the simulations, or for upkeep, for maintenance, all of these things. So it is a very tightly knit community that have a very, very good exchange of information and experiences, and not only, it's not only a benefit for the armed forces that use the Spike systems, but also we as a manufacturer have the honor of being invited as a guest to these meetings as well. So we get to learn a whole lot from each and every year of what our customers are experiencing with our systems out there, because you can engineer as well as you like. You can think of any possible scenarios. In the end, reality will show you other situations that you haven't thought about, and it's always nice to see that there's solutions that are out there, and that if one nation is struggling with a certain topic, then another already has encountered the same situation, and they have found their solution to it, and then it all kind of fits together very, very nicely. This year, it will be happening in Slovakia. If I even though I'm not formally allowed to, I will still do this right now. Would very much like to invite the Greek armed forces and the MOD to join us and learn more about the system there, and get in contact with real users and not only marketing and sales people like me, who obviously are somewhat biased on this whole topic.
Yes, that would be great, I guess, because one of the major issues everyone is facing is that first he buys the product and afterwards he has to see how to work with it. And one of the major key points you mentioned is that, of course, any country can exchange the experiences, and that this would be a very nice chance for the Hellenic Armed Forces to attend. I hope the Ministry of Defense of course, to attend. And this is the time regarding, of course, Greece. You mentioned that I'll have to ask you this. You see, we're trying to increase and develop the Hellenic defense industry.
Yes.
So do you have any plans on working or engaging somehow the Hellenic industry in the program if a possible procurement is going to happen?
It's a bit early to talk about this, because while we always like to engage with local partners and companies in some way, shape, or form, this is something that has to be taken into consideration very delicately. Like we'll have to have a look at the Hellenic market, not only in defense, but because there can be an involvement through many stages. There, as you know, a TGM system is highly complex and it consists of many different parts. So we'll have to kind of figure out which companies could we partner with and so on, or like depending also on the amount of missiles or systems procured, is this economically feasible? Does this make sense for both parties? Or maybe if not in the production or assembly or something, maybe if this isn't an option, maybe there is a way to, for example, have a servicing center or something like that, a maintenance center that does not necessarily only serve the Hellenic forces, but maybe also other allies in the region, in the Balkans maybe, or something that could be of value here. So this is something we'll discuss with the MOD and with the Chief of Staff and so on. I can't give you a definite answer on that yet, but it is something we'll explore.
Great. What are your immediate plans for Greece? And I'm saying that because we've seen a testing that the past week, if I recall right. And so Greece has specific needs. I guess you have more than one products to cover these needs. So what are your immediate plans?
So I had the honor to be a guest in Greece actually last week, where I was able to visit the 34th Mechanized Infantry Brigade, where and this is going to be a highlight. Together with them, we will be hosting a live fire demonstration in the beginning of April. To be precise, actually on the 3rd of April, where we will showcase the capabilities of the LR2 missile from a remote controlled dismounted weapon station, as well as one of your Humvee vehicles, with a quick integration of the weapon station of the LR2 for that, where we will be joined obviously by the Hellenic Armed Forces and guests from the MOD, where we're currently working out a scenario basically, or multiple scenarios that are that pose a challenge to the Greek armed forces, and how our system can be a solution to that. And we hope that through that we can effectively demonstrate that Spike is a viable solution, or could be a viable solution for the Hellenic forces in the future. And I think that is a great opportunity as, you know, a takeoff point for further exploration and discussion of how Eurospike, our parent companies, and Greece could work together in the future, and maybe even, you know, develop not only just like an immediate solution, but also something of a long-term strategy, basically.
You mentioned the Humvees, so I have something in mind that the Humvees are already being used for a specific weapon system, anti-tank specific missile system. So I guess one of the priorities of the Hellenic Army is to go in a NATO system because, as you know, the Hellenic Army is a user of some older Russian systems, so
Yes.
they need to be changed, and I guess Eurospike can meet all the needs of this specific procurement.
I hope so. I think, sorry for
Yes.
jumping in here again, because I thought it might be interesting to mention right now, because you kind of already started on this. What I think is a very, very important topic is interoperability. And as I mentioned before, we already have more than 20 nations within Europe, within NATO, who employ the Spike missile systems. So to me, at least, that is a great plus, because it means that you can share information with so many other nations. You can share stock, you can train together, and there's an automatic compatibility of systems and also of understanding. Like if your soldiers work together with for example, the German armed forces, then both of them will already be familiar with the system, they will be familiar with the capabilities, and they will be familiar with ways to employ it in the field. So that is, to me, a great benefit, not only for the Hellenic forces, but for basically all of NATO's forces, I guess.
Yes, I totally agree with that. You see, one of the things that the Hellenic Army needs to change in the near future is actually the way of thinking of buying total different systems for one specific need. So imagine, for example, that we have more than 20 different types of helicopters buying for buying spare parts, you know, it's a nightmare. And
Yeah.
this is very important, you mentioned. But I also have to ask you this. And it is a common question that we hear all the time in the Hellenic defense community, but it's about the end-loss delay. You see, we have bought some spike and loss systems, and
Yes.
we expected to get them sooner, and still we haven't got any. So is it something that you can talk about? Is it something that you are involved somehow with that?
So the Spike endless is a little bit outside of my domain. This is because of the how Eurospike has grown historically. The endless system is not always in our domain, and as far as I know, our parent company Rafael was the main business partner for the procurement of the prime contractor, basically, for the procurement of the Spike endless system in Greece. So I can't allow myself to speak for our partners and friends at Rafael. I am aware that delays are a factor, not only with this system, but also with others. not from our family of missiles, but other ATGM systems, which I'm not going to name right now. But if I personally would have to say something, I understand that the delays are always always frustrating. But I think we are all aware of the Iron Swords War in Israel that is still going on, and we know that the IDF is a force that is strongly reliant on reservists basically, and we all know also that each and every Israeli citizen is very strongly involved in the defense of their home country, and obviously this has taken a toll on not only the production of defense systems, but probably the whole Israeli economy. But that is just me personally. I'm sad to say, or I'm sorry to say, I can't speak directly to any issues of the delays affecting Greece regarding the endless. That is something you would have to discuss with our partners at Rafael. But this is just something off the top of my head that could be an issue, but please don't take this as any sort of official statement.
And one last question, at least from my part, because of course you're free to say whatever more you like and regarding the system. In about 3 months, Hellenic Defense Exhibition, International Hellenic Defense Exhibition, the FEA, is going to happen. So are we going to see you there? Will you attend?
Yes, definitely. And at this point, I would also, I can't tell you our booth or floor number yet, but as soon as I know that, I will inform you. And at this point, I would like to cordially extend an invitation to everybody within the Hellenic Defense community to please stop by, say hello. Feel free to ask us whatever question you might have about the Spike systems, about Eurospike in general, or if you just want to chat about the modern ATGM systems, the role of them in the battlefield. Always happy to exchange opinions and experiences. So please come see us.
Yes, of course I will, because if I recall right, in the previous exhibition you had a Lego Lancer, and
we still
yeah.
we still have it, and actually we have a next week is a big German defense exhibition called Enforce Tech, where we'll have it again, and we'll also have the Lego model at the FEA. It's a 1:1 size, like it's an actual size Lego model. Maybe a fun side story for that. When we first, fun story number one, it's the model is actually placed on an actual tripod that the live weapon system is stationed upon, because when we initially wanted to build a Lego tripod, we discovered it's so heavy that it doesn't carry the weight of the system. So we use the actual tripod that carries the actual weapon system in order to support the structure of the original size Lego model. And the next fun thing was that when we initially exhibited it, a lot of people actually just walked past it, thinking, well, it's one of the hundreds of models of weapon systems I see at each and every defense exhibition. And only once we started to kind of beneath it, we just put out a whole bunch of loose Lego stones in different shapes and sizes, people sort of noticed that and said, wait, what is this? And then took a closer look and realized, oh, the whole thing is made of Lego. And then kind of you get kickstarted into a discussion. So, you know, it looks so close to the real thing that at a glance, if you don't have any sort of other eye catcher, it might be mistaken for any other, you know, for any other sort of model that is made from some sort of plastic or whatever. So yeah.
Yeah, it was quite impressive, at least to my mind. You know, it seems to be like showing the flexibility of the system, and of course the number of users. So it's like a modular system that can meet the needs of any country.
Definitely.
So feel free to say whatever you like.
Well, again, thank you for the invitation. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk with you today. We're looking very much forward to meeting the defense community at DEFEA. We're very much looking forward to our live fire event together with our partner Rafael, which we'll be conducting at the beginning of April, as I mentioned earlier. Yeah, as you mentioned, maybe to summarize again in the end, what makes Spike so special, I think, is its modularity, is its flexibility, and the fact that we have more than 22 users in Europe and more than 40 users in the world. So I think that speaks for itself, and is, you know, this larger number, coming back to what I said before, interoperability is something that could be key in future conflicts, to have a commonality of stock, to have a commonality of training, experience, and so on, which will hopefully in the end give us the edge.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Tom Loske, thank you very much for being here with us. I'm Giannis Rekas from fly.com.gr. So everyone that wants to learn more about this fantastic family of systems, please come to DEFEA, and of course, Mr. Loske will be available to talk with us for every question we have. Thank you very much for being here with us again, Mr. Loske.
Thank you.